this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings, you're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobukijake.
Hey?
We're here to show you what we got.
Yeah.
You know, because it's January, and January seems to be a hot month, a certain celebrity is eating up the charts. Unfortunately, those charts equal bad things for people who are close together. So we're spending January apart. But when this particular celebrity it has claimed less fans, we'll resume doing these things together. So with that, we got a lot going on. Got some pickups. So I'm gonna let him go ahead and show off.
Okay. And my promised drought of offerings has not quite materialized yet. I do have a few fun things to offer this week. I will definitely be... Well, I did find a large Dollar Tree pickup last week that will probably carry me through the month, or mostly. But it will be relatively small batches from here for a while, but there'll be some good stuff still. And I've got an assortment today, and I'm going to kick off with something that I ordered specifically for this week's Inside Movies Galore discussion in our January theme of unintentionally creepy or scary films. We are covering the Don Bluth classic, The Secret of Neem, which I have never seen before until yesterday, and I finally did, and it's a pretty cool little movie. I grew up on some of the Don Bluth stuff, and I've definitely seen the majority of the main ones, not some of the sequels per se, but it was good to finally see this one, and I look forward to our discussion on it. Unfortunately, this edition is fairly bare bones, and I believe this is it does have a couple things on it, which I wish I had time to watch the commentary track. That would have been nice, but I believe this is the edition that our Dane Kyle has ripped as being an absolutely atrocious transfer. I could be wrong about that, but it definitely doesn't look as good as a Blu-ray should, and I'd certainly like to see this cleaned up one day and get a really nice, spiffy re-release. May even consider an upgrade at that point, but for now, it's nice to finally have it holding a little spot in the collection.
I agree. I mean, I've got the DVD version, which is sadly in standard format, but I've heard that they really haven't cleaned it up enough for me to want to go with the Blu-ray just yet. My hope is that they'll do a 4K or something where they'll remaster the whole thing. It's definitely a childhood joy. I look forward to discussing it this week. Of course, by the time you're seeing this, we will have already done so. So you can look up
Check it
Secret
out.
of Neem, Inside Movies Galore, and it will be there. So my first one is a video game. And a lot of these games have been doing a lot of digital only, as I think they're going to be the first. Well, music is the first to kind of move more into the digital only sector, with only a select few boutiques selling them. Movies and video games are also headed that direction, and I think video games are going to be there next. But I think that video games are probably going to be the first one to go to where you're not going to be able to play them. I think the next generation is going to be a digital only. You won't be able to put a disc or cartridge in, which is a shame. But one of those I got from CD Japan, Play Asia, my bad, which does do a lot of these types of games, giving you some physical where there is no physical release here. And it's a horror game called Fatal Frame, made in a black water. So this originally was a Wii U game, but they have gone ahead and re-released it to modern systems. For those unfamiliar with the Fatal Frame games, as these are traditionally Japanese horror, and you have the spirit camera that you battle ghosts with. As silly as that sounds, they do a very good job of keeping the horror in these games. I really enjoyed the ones I have played. I have Fatal Frame 1, 2, and 3 on my PlayStation 3 digitally, but they really need to go ahead and get those released digitally or physically. I'd love to see like a collection, which they could easily fit all three of those games, even up-resed on one of these. I'd love to see that. We need to get on a Fatal Frame collection. As a fan of a Japanese horror and of course Japanese women, you probably enjoy this series, Jake.
I actually have heard of it, and looks interesting.
So I am looking forward to checking it out in the future. I haven't beaten any Fatal Frame yet. I've played each one of them, but I have yet to beat any. But we'll see how it goes as we move all along.
Good times. Okay, so of course when I ordered Neem, I wanted to make sure to get my money's worth. You know, as a Prime member, I wanted to be able to get that, no shipping thing. And so I was looking for some deals I could throw on there. And so naturally, the 2 bonus items I ordered arrived immediately, and Secret of Neem didn't arrive till yesterday. You know, go figure. But that's the way it goes. But one of the ones I ordered, I have no doubt I could have gotten it cheaper, but it was at a good price. I think it was like $6 or $7. And it's still a fairly recent film that is excellent and that I really wanted to have in the collection. And that is the recent Cynthia Arrivo starring Harriet, about the trials and travails of one Harriet Tubman, where Arrivo was a double threat. She was nominated for actress and original song, which is very cool. You also have an excellent supporting cast, including Leslie Odom Jr. and Janelle Monáe, 2 other singer/actor individuals of talent, directed by Cassie Lemons. Really solid film, and glad to finally have it.
Very good. A good film.
Mm-hmm.
So my next one is a Dollar Tree pickup.
Mm-hmm.
It's called An English Haunting.
Oh.
I like a lot of these little horror titles, and some of them are not like the horror titles necessarily. They're horror titles that just didn't quite catch on with the mainstream public. It says here, 1960s England.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Cunningham and his alcoholic mother are forced to move into the mysterious Clement Hall, a vast insulated manor to care for his dying grandfather, who resides in the attic room. Soon, ghostly going-ons fill the house with dread as it becomes apparent grandfather's illness may have supernatural cause. I really like haunted house films, so I know I'm going to at least get some basic enjoyment out of this. And it does look like, just in general, a fun film.
All right.
Oh, wait. There we go.
All right.
I booed you from the stream instead of transferring the camera over.
Now, why would you do that? So, we, of course, on this channel, launched last year a little awards program that we are very fond of called the Versus Awards, and we plan to work very hard to make sure that the sophomore Versus Awards is even more awesome with much more involvement, and where we ourselves are the movie gurus of 2021, you know. And toward that end, there is a certain series long in the making with part 4 among the 2021 releases. I already owned parts 1 and 3. Strangely enough, did not own part 2, which is actually the only one of the 3 I had seen. Go figure that. I don't know how that turned out that way, but anywho, I haven't watched any of them. I haven't obviously watched my copies of 1 and 3. So I figured, you know what? The hell with it. I need something to get my cart up above $25. I want to finish this series finally. So I went ahead and threw on the second part of the Evangelion Rebuild franchise, Evangelion 2.22, You Can Not Advance. For those of you who are not familiar with Neon Genesis Evangelion, I don't know what to do with you.
Come on, man.
Yes, shame. Go feel shame. But the creator of the franchise, Hideaki Anno, came back to it several years ago and started what was supposed to be a 4-movie series that was probably going to take about 6 or 7 years to produce. I think it went a little longer than that. I think it was 6 or 7 years ago that I saw part 2, actually. Watched the English dub late one night on television, and I can say this one starts off very, very similar to the anime, but with a lot of the filler stripped out and with the production value on it. The anime was famous for its lack of money. They have money now, and they were able to tell the story, I think, the way Anna wanted to. This character is new. She is not in the original franchise. She is new and is introduced in this volume. I really want to get this show watched, and again, Volume 4 will theoretically be a contender for the Versus Awards, so looking forward to that.
It pisses me off that right now they had that deal with Amazon Prime, who wants to keep it only digital for a long time. So I am sad that I may never get to complete the 4 because they may never have a 4th come out. But there is hope.
Can watch it on Prime.
Yeah, I still would prefer to have it on the digital.
I know.
I mean, not the digital, but you know what I mean.
I know.
If I have to watch it on Prime, I will, but not until the last minute. I'm hoping for a physical release. My hope is that with some popularity of Ava getting a release, it'll be there. I mean, I've got the first 3 films on it.
And it was my hope that this will be a nicer edition. I mean, this is a pretty stripped down release. I think both of my others were much nicer looking, especially Volume 3. But, oh well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the first movie in that series because I mistook it for. I thought that it was. I heard there was a live action one that they were doing, and I had thought that I had bought that one because I bought.
No, that was Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
Seriously, Anno took a break after the 3rd movie and made Shin Godzilla. And if you watch it, you could pretend it's an Eva movie. There's a lot of similarities.
Well, now they're doing the Shin. He's doing the Shin Ultraman, so.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting how that goes. Here we go. So I've got some Animu as well.
All right.
So I've got here Kaji, the complete series. This one had a slight bump on the radar for a little while. Unemployed, degenerate Kaji Ito spent his time drinking and gambling and racking up bills, and was sure that his life had hit rock bottom. Then that bottom fell out when Endo, the loan shark, arrived to inform him of a friend's default on the loan that Kaji foolishly co-signed, making Kaji responsible for a soul-crashing 3 million yen. But there's one possible way out. If Kaji goes to a secret gambling ship and plays successfully for one night, his debt could be absolved. It's a trick, of course, but what choice does Kaji have? So I've got both seasons in this, which is kind of cool. So you got 52 episodes, and it was on a Sentai sale, so it was actually pretty dirt cheap for one of their Blu-rays. Can't remember what I paid for it, but it was pretty low. And it wasn't as good as that other one, the spin-off series from this that they had. That one I remember was under 10. This one was, I think, closer to 20. But for 52 episodes, that's not bad.
Is that the one that Mr. Tanagawa's Middle Management Blues is
yes,
the spinoff?
That's the spinoff.
I want to see that. Kaiji just didn't catch me the way that one did. It's like we have our award for best cover art, poster art, because of like this makes you want to see the show, and that was one where I saw that and I was like, I want to see the show. Another one that fits in that category. Okay, mini rant here. I actually was thinking about doing this at the top of the episode and I totally forgot. So, my next one I'm going to present, I got from Amazon about 2 weeks ago. It's one I was wanting for a while, and I ordered it new off of Amazon. It arrived looking good. The package looked good. And then I opened it up, and it was damaged, which meant that they friggin' packed a damaged item. It didn't get beat up in transit. They packed a damaged item. So it was funny because on the way home tonight, I was kind of going over that in my head. I'm kind of chilling to Choctaw Hayride, which is a great song. Alice Across Union Station. And then the next song came on right when that thought was maturing in my brain. Bob Dylan comes on with Positively 4th Street. You've got a lot of nerve to say you are my friend. When I was down, you just stood there grinning. I'm like, this might be the Amazon song now. The timing was perfect. And Amazon, go feel shame. Because when I order the Suicide Squad, I don't want it to arrive with the slipcover looking like that. That's some stupid ass bullshit. That is, and it was clearly, the package wasn't damaged at all, which means that whoever packed that thought that was an acceptable state to put that in the package. Whoever packed this. What's that?
They were like, screw these people ordering this shit.
Yeah.
Making us actually do this work with the slave driver fucking us over. Yeah.
Hey, just because you're working for an asshole like Jeff Bezos doesn't mean I'm to blame. So, at any rate, I'm going to have to just chuck that and just go with this as is. I thought about it. It's not worth fighting Amazon over a friggin' slipcover. But I am furious that they had the nerve to do that. And just a mini rant. I had to throw that out there. You know, I mean, I'm not a slipcover fiend the way some people are, but I do like them. They look nice. But it's a principle of the thing. If something is clearly damaged, you don't package it and send it to someone, you know, at full. Well, it wasn't full price, but it was like $15. You know, I expected more. But anyway, now that the rant's out of the way, another mini rant. James Gunn friggin' outdid himself with this movie. This is a great movie. And yet, you know, I was looking at some of the prognostication today for the award shows and everything, and apparently no one considers his screenplay to even be a contender for adapted screenplay. What the hell? I mean, especially after the atrocity that was the previous Suicide Squad screenplay, this one should look like the best possible. But regardless, James Gunn really did outdo himself with this. Warner Brothers has to thank their lucky stars that Disney was a bunch of stupid dicks and fired him in the first place. and James Gunn ended up coming out on top. He's you know, but this is a great movie. It is demented. It's batshit insane. It is one of the best action flicks of the last, 10 years or whatever. It is a good movie. I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah, and Gunn must not be that bad a person when it comes to like the fact that all of the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy stood up for the dude.
Right.
And you don't, if you're a total asshole, your cast will not stand up for you like that.
Right.
They tend to be like, good riddance. Let's go to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So it just is one of those. All right. So my next one's one that I was talking with Mo about because he had felt like maybe Seed People and all that was on it. But it's not. Because we were talking about Netherworld. I had gotten it in a set when I was doing my full moon purchasing for the holidays. I got this Rituals of the Occult 3-piece, which has Netherworld, Voodoo Academy, and Totem. 3 full moon features. So Netherworld was the one I got it for because that was on. Mo had sent me a list of like best of the best, and that was on it. So Netherworld's after inheriting a sprawling estate in Louisiana. Corey's life is about to change forever. Haunted by the ghost of his father and surrounded by the enticing ways of black magic, Corey's about to enter the world beyond imagination. Then there's Voodoo Academy. Christopher is just enrolled at Carmichael Bible College, managed by Miss Bouvier. After investigating some unexplained disappearances, Christopher discovers that Mrs. Bouvier and Reverend Carmichael have some bad intentions for the men of the school. And finally, Totem. 6 average teenagers going about their normal lives are suddenly seized by mysterious compulsion to find themselves drawn against their will to a forgotten cemetery watched over by ancient stone idols. A totem featuring 3 masters of death. As the deadly night unfolds, they soon realize that they have been chosen to be a part of a terrifying ritual. 3 destined to be killers and 3 the victims. Oh, I remember Mo talking about Totem. So, you should check out his stuff is in the site below in the thing. What is it that he... it's sad that I cannot remember for the darndest the new name of his channel. Retro Cult Home Video.
Yes.
And, if you haven't checked out his stuff, it's pretty good. He's doing a lot of the Grindhouse stuff for the reviews right now, and some of us have had guest appearances on some of his more recent videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be there with him for an Evil Bong review sessions taking place in April. So you guys get to look forward to seeing my shining face over there in the future.
Not to mention that he joined us for that Bad Ben discussion, which will be the first of many, yes?
Oh, yeah. And that's going to be debuting at the end of the month.
All right. Cool. So my last one is another one that I kind of maybe against my better judgment kind of just said, screw it. I don't feel like fighting the big boys. Disney slipped one by me, and it was one that I was debating going ahead and getting if I could actually get some stuff with it, but I couldn't make it happen. But I missed it, and they ended up sending me just the item, and although I'm overpaying, I didn't really feel like sending it back because it's one I really wanted anyway. So, yes, every now and then the mouse gets me to spend more than I should. But the funny thing is, this morning at the library, I was pulling holds, and I pulled this soundtrack for this movie. I can't recall that I've seen a physical copy of this soundtrack. And then I pulled it for a hold, and then this afternoon I get home, the movie's waiting for me. I'm like, that's some pretty fun timing. So I guess maybe in my weird mind, that's kind of another sign to keep it. But anyway, a movie that came out right around the time the Suicide Squad did, which was one of the primary ones that Disney Marvel had up against it, was Marvel's ShangChi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, which features Simu Liu and Awkwafina with Michelle Yeoh and the American English language debut of East Asian superstar Tony Leung. This was his first American film, if you can believe it, and he did a phenomenal job as the actual Mandarin. You know, they wanted you to forget that silly one from Iron Man 3, and yet they brought him back. Trevor Slattery, played by Sir Ben Kingsley, is actually the comic relief in the film. I liked this movie. It was a lot of fun. I went into it with, I didn't know what to expect, and I was impressed. This may be the most fun Marvel film of the year. I mean, Black Widow was a great action flick, and Spider-Man definitely had a lot of fun going for it. But I think overall, this may have been the most fun of the bunch. And so I'm definitely glad to have it. I'm annoyed I paid extra for it, but, you know, it's there.
You know, for kids.
Exactly. And incidentally, these two, I can guarantee you now, will feature heavily in the Versus Awards.
So actually, I do have a Disney order shaping up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm waiting for the Eternals because I want it to be. It's gonna be fourfold. It's gonna be the Eternal, ShangChi,
Yeah.
Encanto, and Nomadland.
That's close for me. I have Nomadland and I have Shang-Chi, but I don't yet have Cruella. So I think once Eternals and Encanto are out, I'll try and get those three and whatever else I can get cheap. Maybe Ron's Gone Wrong, because I've heard that's worth getting.
Yeah, I might get Ron's Gone Wrong or Cruella. Depends on how I'm doing financially at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because both, I've not seen Cruella, but I've heard a lot of good things. And
It's good.
I have seen Ron's Gone Wrong, and it is a fun film. So, my last one, which I think is the last one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Is another full moon feature that I got on a sale. It's Blu-ray. It wasn't one of the free ones I got because the Blu-rays, I decided on the DVDs. So I got Tourist Trap Uncut. Another one of Mo's recommendations. From the producer, Charles Band, and director, David Schmolier, team that brought you the contemporary horror classics Puppet Master and Crawl Space, good films, comes Tourist Trap, widely recognized as not only one of the scariest horror movies of the 1970s, but of all time. Legendary actor Chuck Connors, from The Rifleman and Werewolf, stars as Mr. Slauson, a telekinetic psychopath who lures a group of young people to his ramshackle roadside attraction, unleashing an army of psychically controlled mannequins and other monstrosities upon them. As the terrified youths fight for their lives, secrets are revealed and shocks follows shock until the movie reaches its nightmarish, unforgettable finale. Like I say, I mean, there's not much on it, like an audio commentary and such, but they've done a lot of remastering and stuff of a lot of their stuff recently, a full moon. So it's kind of cool to see this. It's a 1970s classic. Won't be up for this year's Versus Awards. Matter of fact, I don't think any of the stuff that I showed will be up for that, but still, it looks like a fun time. Well, that's all we have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this. Of course, if you have, click that like button. If not, well, they kind of disabled that dislike, so. But comment below and let me know what you thought, what you picked up over the past month or so. And hopefully, we'll see you again on the next one.